Alright, let's go ahead and name this to our little rubber grip here. I'm going to make a new fill layer to tackle some of this paint up here. And for this, actually it looks like we're not updating for some reason. So I had this little pause button here, selected on accident. So just make sure if it's not updating, you can just turn this off and it'll go ahead and update. So we added a new fill layer, and obviously it because it is fill layer, it went ahead and filled everything in. So we don't actually obviously want to fill it in. I'm going to go ahead and set my settings though. I'm trying to make this this black paint up here. So we'll make it very, very dark. And then it's got to be completely non-metallic. And then the roughness, I don't know, it feels pretty flat. I want it to have a little bit of a difference from this, so it may be that this is flat and this gets a bit shinier. But I want them to be offset from each other. However, whatever it ends up being, they just need to be a little bit different. And then, okay, so we can turn off the normal and the height for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a black mask, just like we did for the other one. And inside I'm going to right click on the mask and then add a paint. And we'll go ahead and select this little icon here so that we can apply this new fill to the areas where we want it. So I can come over and click each face, or I can turn symmetry on and click on half as many faces. So I'm usually in favor of the less time consuming version of the task. And you can see sometimes it's not quite right. You can also do drag select. And then it looks like this kind of goes up the back. We can correct for that stuff in a minute here. So right now we're just we're filling with white. So if I set this to fill with black, we can come in and easily make sure that we don't have any incorrect selections. And it's easy to change our minds about that if we want, it being non-destructive and all. Okay, so there's our paint. I'm going to go ahead and name this layer paint. If you have multiple paint colors or just different kinds of paint, you probably want to use a more descriptive term than paint. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to come over here and yeah, knock that one out too. All right, I'm going to turn symmetry off just for a moment, because what we're going to do now is we're going to add this circular pattern here to our grip. So I kind of like to keep things organized, so I'm going to go ahead and add a folder here, and we'll call this rubber grip. And I'll take the rubber and I will drop it in there, and then inside I'm just going to add fill. So now we're inside of our rubber grip still, and I'm going to add this new layer, and we'll just call this dots. So what happens here, the mask is going to inherit, like if I put a mask on this folder, everything underneath it is going to inherit that mask. That's basically this right here. So what I can do is I can copy this mask, come up to rubber grip, and just paste the mask in. I think I might have to add a black mask first, but then I should be able to paste into mask. So here we can see that is now being applied. There's my fill on the dots, which is why this is turning up. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this mask. Just remove it. So because both the rubber and the dots are inside my rubber grip, there's one mask that's basically driving the visibility for both of these layers. So rather than having like a bunch of duplicated masks, you can just have one, and that's a nice time saver in case you need to make some changes. You only have to do it in one place rather than a whole bunch. Okay, so with the dots, we don't need color, we don't need metal, we don't need roughness, and we don't need normal. What we need is height. So height is basically going to give you a relative difference between layers. So I can change this value here, and you'll see nothing is changing because it's being applied to this entire mesh. It's conceivable we might see a little bit of a change to the boundary, but I want to make it nice and obvious for you. So I'm going to set this to some value like this, and we're going to add a black mask. And then inside the black mask, I'm going to add a paint. So I'm going to hop over to my brushes menu in my shelf, click on basic hard, go to the paint. So right now we see this little tiny sliver. It's actually, if I click up here, it should, sorry, it's because I'm in fill mode. I need to select the paintbrush, and then I get this big menu here. That's what I was looking for. So at the bottom of this menu, in the properties menu, I'm going to get this value slider here. So I can either paint all the way black, which is painting whatever I'm painting out, or I can paint all the way white, which is painting all the way in, or any of the values in between. So if I start painting with white here, you can see, and I'm just using, I guess, kind of a blurry brush here, that I have just created the illusion that there is a change in height on the handle. If I change the view, so I'm looking at the silhouette, you can see the silhouette does not change. This is just a lighting trick. But it's pretty powerful. It works pretty well. If you hold Shift and right mouse click, by the way, you can rotate the light. So that is what the height does, and it's not destructive. So what that means is I come over to my fill layer, which is where the height value lives, and I can change it. So we can have it go in, we can have it go out. So what we're going to do is, rather than come in here and try to paint all these dots by hand, is we're going to use a tiling texture, which is here in our procedurals. So procedurals are just textures that are essentially created by some kind of a math equation, generally speaking, or repeating something that's input, right? So like this circle thing here, this is the one we're going to use. It's just tiling this in infinitely in up and down and infinitely left and right. So up and down is V and left and right is U. You might remember that from the UV conversation. Okay, so let's go ahead and we will set our height value to something just so that we can see it as it changes. Here's our height. We're calling it dots. And if you look at this, we can see it's transparent, whereas these other ones are all opaque. And that is because we're looking at the base color layer. If we switch this to height, you can see now everything else that doesn't have a height value is transparent, and our dots here has a value. So I'm just going to set this back to base color because it's not really super important what's going on there. I just want to explain it to you. So I'm going to click on the mask, and I'm going to delete the paint. I'm going to right click on that mask, and I am going to add a fill. So just like the main fills out here, this is just going to fill this entire thing with whatever we put in it. So you can see I've got a few little basic settings here, and I've got this grayscale field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to procedurals, and you can type in circle if you don't see it, but this is the one we're looking for. This is our little search field up here. And we're going to click and drag into the grayscale. And you can see already I have circles showing up. They are clearly not exactly what's going on here, but it's a start. And because I've got them living inside this rubber grip folder with the appropriate mask setup, it's inheriting that visibility, so it's not showing up anywhere else on the hammer. So let's go ahead and modify our circles here so that we're getting a better result. And we can do that very easily by looking at the transforms up here and some of the parameters down here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the scale. So when I increase the scale, what I'm basically doing is I'm just shrinking the texture relative to the UVs. And that can be a little bit sort of tricky to understand, but you can get in here and play with it and understand what the values mean for your project. And that's kind of the most important thing. You can see here we are getting this kind of gnarly line right across the middle of it, and also right down the front and back. What this is the UV seam. I guess we don't have a seam in the back, it's just in the front. And if I come over here, actually, let me go ahead and expand this out just a little bit. Look for this little icon in the top of your menu here. You may have to kind of hop out, like click on one of the fill layers and then go back into circles or something. But anyway, so we have these three options here: 3D, 2D, 3D only, and 2D only. So currently we're in 3D only. But if I go to 3D, 2D, you can see over here, these are our UVs. And you can see how the textures are being applied to our UV layout. So what's going on is this texture, this circle's texture, is basically just tiling across this whole space here. And it doesn't really have any idea where our UV boundary is, nor does it care about it. So that's why we're getting this offset, because these values, the location of where these cuts happen to be is completely disconnected to our tiling texture. So we're just getting some random stuff here. Fortunately, there's a super easy fix for this, which is in projection. Currently we're using our UVs, so it says UV projection. But what we can do is get this drop down and go to tri-planar projection. So what this will do is it'll look at the geometry, and you can see we're getting a little bit of warping on the corners here, but now it looks pretty good from the sides. So it's basically just determining which direction the face is pointing, and it just applies the texture from that as a projection. So you can see that's why it's getting a little bit gnarly here on the sides. So this is one of those things that you have to just play around with to figure out, like, that's a single planar projection, so you can see that's obviously not going to work. And then spherical projection is going to look crazy too. But depending on what your geometry is, like, you can get one of these is going to work better than any of the other ones. So in this case, we'll just kind of stick with this, and we'll go through very quickly and make some modifications down here. So if I increase my contrast, let me see, let me go, which one is it? Balance, tile, right, sorry, it's balance. So we can bring this down a little bit, we can increase the contrast, and we can see that we're basically like tightening up on what's going on here in terms of the position. And we can also come over to our height and just change the direction so it's going down, and we start to get something that, at least from a distance, more accurately represents what we're seeing here in the reference. So in the next video, we will continue maybe one more pass of adding a little bit more interesting detail. So stick around for that.